Well, we can get more on the humanitarian situation and speak to Juliette Touma. She's the Communications Director for UNRWA, and she joins us from Amman in Jordan. Juliette, good to have you on this program. We listened to our correspondent Ashraf there telling us every day about these dire conditions in Gaza City where he is, as well as just across the Strip. What are you hearing from your colleagues on the ground about what their daily lives are like, and also what it's like for them trying to help fellow Palestinians?
Yes, thanks for having me, and really excellent reporting from Ashraf, like the rest of Palestinian journalists in Gaza who continue to do a stellar job under very, very difficult circumstances. Our teams on the ground confirm that famine is unfolding, that they themselves are hungry and they're exhausted, and they barely are able to find food for themselves and their family. We've had last week a few colleagues of ours who fainted while they were on duty caring for the communities.
Juliette, how is UNRWA able to carry out any of the duties that they have done, not just since this war started, but for decades now, in trying to help Palestinians both in Gaza and the occupied West Bank?
Extremely difficult, but like international journalists, we have been banned from going to the occupied Palestinian territory. So we rely heavily on the great work of our Palestinian local staff who are across the board. For example, in the West Bank, they kept the schools open, and as a result, over 40,000 children were able to finish the school year. In Gaza, they continue night and day to have our clinics, medical points open, to pick up sewage, to pick up waste, and to manage shelters. They're also patiently waiting for 6,000 trucks that continue to be stuck here in Jordan and also in Egypt, while we wait for the green light for those supplies to cross into Gaza.
And there is a lot of international reaction. There's a call to action from the international community to allow that aid to enter Gaza, and also a condemnation of the horrific pictures that we're seeing, especially of those starving children. Hearing today that the death toll has now surpassed 60,000 people. But UNRWA recently said words are not feeding our children. Could you just talk us through that statement?
Yes, that's right. I mean, first of all, it's a very sad milestone that we have reached 60,000 people reported killed in less than 2 years. That's quite alarming. And the same comes this morning with regards to the famine and crossing the famine threshold. Now, it is time for action, and action is very straightforward. That's reaching an agreement that will bring a ceasefire, that will bring respite to people in Gaza, that will finally release the hostages so that they can reunite with their loved ones. And for those who sadly were killed, for their families, the families of the hostages, to find closure, but also for a standard in a very large volume of supplies that must be allowed into Gaza under the management of the United Nations, including UNRWA. That's 500 to 600 trucks a day. That's the only way we can, together, collectively, avert famine from getting even worse. And this is the only way to save starving children.
Juliette Touma, really appreciate your time. Live to us there from Amman. She's the Communications Director for UNRWA.